Okay, welcome back. So I was talking about yesterday the therapy thing, and I have more to say, I think. I'll try to find it while I'm just talking. I didn't finish my thought yesterday, which was about, so I think the therapist might ask, like, what brought you here? And I had just assumed that I would always get better just by accident or whatever. But it never really happened. I guess one thing that made me for some reason I had it in my head, like, when I went on vacation, I was thinking, like, when I get back from vacation, then I'll go see a therapist. And then I went on the vacation and I didn't really enjoy it. And I never really felt comfortable. And that made me feel really bad. That, like, around my family I didn't feel comfortable, and I barely said, like, 2 words the whole time. Yeah, I mean, this is a really big deal for me, this therapist thing. I've never had a conversation with somebody where I don't know how to explain it. Like, I just like one-on-one where I have to talk. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be the same as it always is, which is, like, I'm just not gonna be able to say more than a sentence or two to him and answer questions. So I don't know why I'm making it like a bigger deal than it is. Now what do we do? Okay, now what do I do? After Marin leaves, go east. Oh, just go east of the desert. I'd gone through all my notes. So I'll probably just do one more episode. This one. I'm not talking as much as I wanted to. I don't know. I keep thinking of stuff to talk about, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I already talked about that yesterday. Hopefully, I know that I never would have done I never would have called a therapist if I wasn't doing this. This helped me a lot to. I mean, I'm second guessing myself now, but the reason why I called the therapist was because I was feeling confident that I would be able to talk, because I was able to talk here. Talking on this is more than I've ever talked in my life. I guess I don't remember how much I talked when I was a kid, like 10 years old or whatever, but since I've been a teenager, I've never talked this much. And I feel like I've gotten better. A little bit. I had something else to say. So I wouldn't have done the therapy thing if it wasn't for doing this. So I guess if you're like me and you're watching, you should try this, or at least try the thing that I did, which was do the audio journal, which is just a half an hour every week. On my ride home from work, I would talk into my iPhone and just do a voice memo just to practice talking, because otherwise I wouldn't say more than a couple sentences every day. And it was good to talk about stuff that like I wanted to talk about, like a TV show that I had seen that I liked, and because otherwise I wasn't going to talk about that. It's in the waterfall, I think, right? Yeah. I know it's hard. I'm lucky because I had a car and I had a job. A lot of people like me, they don't have those things, and they're stuck at home, and they can't really. I would never be able to do that audio journal thing at my house. I had to do it in the car because I would be too worried that, like, even if my parents weren't there, like, they could come home. I know I could just stop, but I wouldn't want them to hear me. So I was lucky because I had a car and I had time to myself that I could do that. So some people might say, well, I don't have that, like I have a roommate or something. So I don't know what to say. I'm sorry if that's you. If you could just do like 10 minutes a week in the bathroom when your roommate leaves, just really quiet, and then eventually you might get better and louder. I think it helped. And I'm glad I came up with that idea. I don't know why I did, but that seems like something a therapist would tell you to do. Is like, just, you need practice talking. You need to talk. I know the next step for me is to talk to actual people and not just to myself, which is a scary thing. But that's like what the therapist thing is for me. Talking to somebody else. I was just where I was supposed to be, and it's up here, right? Ah. Maybe I can cut this part out if I can't think of anything. I don't know. I don't like editing. It takes a long time. It's nice when you can just. Well, it still takes a long time. I'm sure I'm not doing it right. The right way, so that you do it quick, but I got nothing else to do, so. It's gotta be up here. Okay. And then, so I record it today, and then I'll record the day after the therapist tomorrow. Oh yeah, another thing is it's super expensive. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I'm actually still on my parents' or my dad's plan for insurance. So he has a good plan, I think, so it'll be covered, but I have to leave his insurance next year, and I don't know. I don't think I'll be covered, but I'll worry about that later. Yeah, if you don't have insurance, it's impossible. It's $200. It's $270 for the first appointment, and $220 for the next ones. So what's that? $900 a month? I only bring home like how much do I bring home? Like $2,500 a month or something. So what? It's like 40% of my take-home income would go to the therapist. I can't do that. It's like it's not it's not worth it. I wouldn't be able to save any money. I have to find that warp thing, and then I'll be right by the waterfall. I have a terrible sense of direction. I have no idea where I am. It's impressive how big this game is, but it's also kind of annoying because I keep getting lost. Yeah, I never really thought about it, but it's like, this game is huge. There's 8 dungeons, and there's this huge world map. It's almost as big as like A Link to the Past. I don't know how they did it on the Game Boy in like 1992. Finally, here we go. have to get there. You gotta be joking me. I got the key. Okay, I'm just gonna follow this walkthrough. I was reading like yesterday. So Zack Greinke is a pitcher for the Astros, and their Astros are in the playoffs, and I'm lost. Go west from the keyhole until you reach some stairs. Go up the mountain. Go to the stairs. Lift a rock. Oh. And he has social anxiety disorder, like really bad, probably worse than I do. Is this it? This isn't it. Yeah, I'm sorry. So some websites were posting. He gave an interview where somebody asked him a question, and he was just like, they asked him like, "Are you excited to pitch in this game?" And it's like a big game for the playoffs, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm excited," and that was all he said. And he was kind of just like curled up and go west from the keyhole until you reach some stairs going up the mountain. Was that what I did? Going up the mountain. Go up those stairs, lift a rock to enter the cave, go to the east side of the cave and push the first... What? It has to be where I was. Otherwise I'll just pause it. This is gonna be so frustrating to watch. But it was interesting because a lot of people were getting mad. They were doing the thing, which I've always heard about Twitter, this is the first time I've experienced it, which is like the Twitter outrage, which people were just angry at this. They were angry at this website for posting this article like, oh wow, Zack Greinke, is that really, wait, I don't know. They were kind of making fun of him for not talking that much. And people were defending him. Like, don't you know he has social anxiety? And and so I experienced the thing that I've also heard about, which is like people defending you. Even though they're defending you on your behalf because they're getting offended for something, even though I wasn't really offended by, even though I have social anxiety, I wasn't offended by what they were saying to Zack Greinke. I've never experienced that before because I'm not like any kind of a minority, like, so I've never, this has got to be something, right? Hibiscus. What do I do with this hibiscus? Go through the cave, go southwest, talk to him, and agree to give him the pineapple. If you don't have it, you have to find the tree, take the beehive, then give it. I already did that. Later you can go to the animal village and give the hibiscus to the goat who is writing a letter. Take the letter to what? This is out of control. When you give Papao the pineapple, he gives you the hibiscus. Later? What do you mean later? It's the next sentence. You can go to the animal village and give the hibiscus to the goat who is writing a letter. Okay, this is kind of like a dream I had once. I have to give the hibiscus to the goat who's writing a letter. Okay, let's do that and then I'll end the episode. Kind of wanted to get to the dungeon, but there's like 10 more steps. I didn't really prepare very well for tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Ugh. I don't know how I feel about that Twitter outrage stuff. It's nice that other people defended Zack Greinke, but there is a part of it where you kind of, it's like you feel. I think if you start to feel like self-righteous, like maybe you should stop, because if you're doing it for the wrong reason. And maybe don't be so harsh with your language, because it's just the thing that matters is just the volume or just the quantity of support on Twitter. It's just a numbers thing. So it doesn't really matter how you say it, as long as you're like, hey, I don't think this is cool what you said. If that's, instead of just being like outraged and like yelling and being like, how could you say such a thing? Yeah, I think if you're starting to feel like too good about yourself for defending somebody else, I don't know, I always do this. I take away joy. I don't know, if it makes you happy to be outraged, there are so few things that make people happy. Maybe you should just be outraged if that makes you happy. I don't know. Are you writing a letter? I don't know. if I ever thought of like defending somebody like that, I would always get this thought in my head like, well, you're not really saying anything interesting, or you're not really adding anything to the noise, so what's the point? But there's like a part of you, if like nobody's saying anything, and you get this feeling like I have to say something, and you feel good about yourself because you're like the first one, and maybe it's that feeling is not really good because you're kind of doing it for the wrong reason. You're doing it for the attention and for people to be like, oh, what a good person you are for defending this person, instead of just actually wanting to help the person. I don't know how that part goes. Walkies. Where is the goat part? Go north and then jump down the ledge, walk east to shallow water. Oh, what? I'm lost, I'm sorry. Then take the letter to Mr. Wright, who is north of the mysterious forest. Yeah, I'm kind of at the end of the episode, so. And it's going to take me a while to find this Mr. Right guy. Okay, I didn't really do a very good job again today, or yesterday, but I'm glad I did it. I feel like these episodes were important to do just before I went to the therapist, and then because I haven't really talked too much about it until now. I mean, there hasn't been much to talk about. I just have been looking for the past couple months, and I feel like doing this was the only reason I was able to see a therapist, because I would have never had the confidence that I would be able to talk to somebody. Even though I am kind of second guessing myself now because I wasn't able to do very well these past 2 episodes. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So tomorrow I'll have seen the therapist, and that's probably going to be the first thing I talk about because it's kind of a big deal. Okay, wish me good luck. Okay, see you tomorrow.